Hello and welcome to Nexus Commentary. Sorry for the late start, but we are here now and we are ready for the series of ReGen Blue versus Spooky Ghosts. Joining me tonight is Logicalia. Do you want to say hi?
That's me.
Alright, so for this, ReGen Blue won the coin toss. They chose to have first pick. Spooky Ghost banned Dragonshire and Sky Temple. ReGen Blue banned Braxis and Volskaya. And then Spooky Ghost choose Tomb of the Spider Queen. What do you think of that map, Logic?
Spider Queen's rad. It's small. So rotation based heroes are pretty good around here. Heroes like Diablo, so you can bang people in the walls and just chill around. There's a lot of really good wall bang spots. Heroes like ETC with a lot of control are pretty good there too. I think Spider Queen's a very tank heavy map.
Yeah.
Johanna obviously
Yeah.
because of the wave clear.
Yes. Actually, Spooky Ghost actually has Diablo as one of their top most played heroes so far this season in NGS.
I'll watch out for it.
Yes. So we'll tell them we are ready, and we'll wait for them to throw up the draft if both teams are ready. But it's a very wave clear heavy map for sure. Gul'dan's, Jaina's, Johanna's, all very popular. Leo is very popular in the off lane on this map for his ability to double soak if you need it, but also be able to survive and just kind of be there in the bottom lane as the draft is being started right now.
Also important to note, the spiders on Spider Queen are very scary, so you need brave heroes who are not frightened by the spiders.
Yes. Win conditions on this map are generally spiders or boss. You do need something to be with you generally when you push up, unless you get a full team wipe. Medivh banned right away. What do you think of that ban?
That's pretty smart. Medivh is pretty good. I assume there's some scouting here, because not every team plays Medivh. But Medivh is pretty good on this map because portals. I mean, literally, it's like you walk from top lane to mid lane through a portal and then surprise you there. Or you can portal like on the other side of the turn-in and then surprise her in the back line. So it's a very good Medivh map.
Very good for scouting as well with the bird form being able to hover over the turn-in spots. As Spooky Ghost comes at us with their first ban of Jaina banning out some wave clear there.
This is pretty solid ban so far, I think.
I agree. Jaina with her cold touch on her passive, chilling touch. Chilling touch, I think is what they. Yeah. Ana getting banned out, still a really competitive support even after all the nerfs to grenade build.
Yeah, she's still about as strong as ever. A little weaker than she used to be, but pretty good. Doesn't bring a lot to the map aspect, but she's just so good at keeping teams up. Her lack of wave clear doesn't really matter.
That's true. It allows you to tank out a lot of whatever you kind of want. Main tank Uther with an Ana behind him is very strong in my opinion right now.
It's pretty spooky. A little unorthodox, but it's definitely not bad.
Yeah, Varian ban coming out though. That might be a little bit spicier. That might be a target ban, or that could be they're trying to go for something that counters, maybe a Tracer if they're looking and scared of taunt.
Definitely could be. Tracer, not bad on Spider Queen, good at rotation. She's a little weaker at catching people out because people are always together.
First pick Anduin. Anduin is a top pick for ReGen Blue right now. Putting Jason on that headcaster actually of all of NGS. But Anduin must be a comfort pick for him. He's decently strong in the right hand. His passive is very strong. It's a cleanse with a helping hook coming out at the same time. There's the Johanna and the Rhaegar. How do you feel about those picks? Yeah.
Those give you a lot of frontline presence. The Rhaegar can hop in and bite, and it also gives you a lot of map presence. But Rhaegar is probably the best wave clear assassin. You can do camps. It's often hard to find time to go do the Bruiser camp on Spider Queen just because you're always wanting to be on the map. And Johanna, obviously, with her Condemn.
Lightning Shield on Johanna is pretty good to get the Condemn value, and then you're guaranteed to get it. And could pair well with his new 16. We have ETC Kel'Thuz coming out from ReGen here. You were talking about the ETC, and it is a top pick for them as well. You want to review again why you like the ETC on this map?
Yeah, I think ETC is pretty underrated now in the meta, just sort of in general. He's just got, he was nerfed recently, I think a little bit, but his W is like really safe. You can poke with it if you get loudspeakers at 4. Just sort of has, it lets you knock people back. It gives you a lot of team fight control with the power slide. just like really consistent, reliable CC. And then the mosh pit as well, and all those little tight chokes. It's
Yeah.
just,
Spooky Ghost banning out Chen here. Chen, we saw in our last cast, very strong at picking off a backliner once he has Storm, Earth, and Fire. I think
Storm, Earth, Fire just super deletes a single target.
Yeah.
It used to before as well, but now it really...
Now it does it quicker. We have the ghoul down, getting banned out, banning out more wave clear mages. This kind of starts to choke out some of that burst wave clear, but still lots of wave clear left, just not necessarily as fast as the Kael'thas that ReGen Blue has, which may give them a rotational advantage here, though the Johanna does kind of help cover that basis.
Yeah, they don't super need to rely on their DPS for wave clear. You don't want to draft like, I don't know, like 3 chromies here. You're gonna need some wave clear.
Hanzo, Li Ming. So Hanzo's going to be their wave clear, but he doesn't have the best wave clear till 4, and Li Ming's going to cover a lot of that poke onto the turn-in points, as she tends to fight a little bit poorly around minions, but really well in open spaces where she can just kind of pop off. Which build do you think we're going to see from this Li Ming?
Ooh, I'm rooting for that orb build. Probably not orb build. Probably standard with Calamity.
The Calamity build.
Orb build is pretty abysmal on Spider Queen.
You're not looking for like Q build here, the high skill build?
Q build is pretty flashy. That would be exciting.
It would be.
But...
We still have a Thrall and Artanis coming out here from ReGen Blue. So that means 4-man Thrall. Do you think we'll see the stacking quest Crash Lightning?
I don't know. Not Rolling Thunder. The other one's still pretty good. But...
Yeah, and there's the Arthas pickup. He's gonna be able to box into that triple front line coming out from ReGen Blue there. ETC Artanis Thrall is gonna have to play carefully around that. Though Spooky Ghost, I think it might have a little bit of trouble engaging if they're trying to throw themselves at them, because they have to walk up with the Johanna and Arthas. But having the range of Hanzo Li Ming's means they don't really have to actually have their front line clash with the enemy front line that often.
Yeah, their range lineup works really well with their melee lineup. Sort of in general, they have a lot of beef in the front line that's going to be hard to get past.
Yes. Let's go ahead and do introductions on this screen, so that way people can actually see who's on what.
That's smart.
ReGen Blue, Mongoose playing the ETC ReGen Blue, Larson on the Kael'thas, August Sun playing Artanis ReGen Blue, Grendel on Thrall and ReGen Blue, Jason playing that Anduin. Do you want to introduce the red team?
Sure, we got the Spooky Ghosts. They got Rhaegar on Little... Nope. Fuck Rhaegar. The Rhaegar is a Little Wolf. We got Caligius on Arthas. We got Rogoth on Johanna, Boundary X on Hanzo, and Eric with AK. Eric with AK. Okay, I see. I'm leaving.
We see Artanis' position like they're going to go straight bottom right off the bat. They're going to have a slight numbers disadvantage then going into this mid-clash that generally happens. But we see, actually, on the other side, Claudius on that Arthas is looking to go straight top here. Not traditionally the solo lane, but could try to force the enemy to do rotations differently. Yeah.
That's interesting. Great match, I guess. Yeah, neither one of these teams really wants to fight mid. Arthas level 1 is pretty spooky to step up into.
Arthas,
you don't want to give Thrall crash stacks.
Yeah, Arthas taking Eternal Hunger at 1, so he has a chance to just stack a lot of damage on his extra auto attack coming out from his passive. Teams are going back and forth right now, and Larson's taking some damage from the Li Ming orb on the side there, but the rooted swap into Johanna there, pinging her pretty low, and it looks like Spooky Ghosts are going to do a mid-bot rotation instead of a mid-top rotation that you normally see to try to force something awkwardness out of ReGen Blue. Artanis does sniff it out and just rotates differently. Claudius, of course, expecting that and was hiding in a bush and is going to be able to get that XP.
That was some interesting counter synergy for Anduin there with the Artanis swap. The root will stop the swap and Artanis will move with the swap truck.
Johanna getting stunned out there, rooted, and then CC chain. Will she go down? She's not quite going down, but is spreading bomb to everyone. She might die if Little Wolf was staying too close, but Little Wolf does back away, and then Rogoth and Eric with a K are going to back here. Root goes out on the Arthas, but the second root misses. That was a really good setup from them. They're chaining CC pretty well. In the bottom lane, we have Rhaegar just trying to get that soak from the Artanis, who was able to take about probably about a third of the tower. It's slightly less than half. Artanis is rotating down now, and Spooky Ghosts are gonna give up on this strategy of swapping around the rotation.
Blue really dictating the map already. They didn't get that kill on Johanna, but it forced Arthas to go bottom, and they didn't get to play their bottom mid rotate to kill him.
Death timers are pretty low right now. Forcing her to back over killing her may have actually moved her longer from the lanes than actually killing her might have.
Yeah, that's possible. Force this is the tap as well.
We have
Vigor's early healing is scary. It's not terrible, but it's very mana intensive.
It can be, yes. He has used his tap now. 3 stacks on Crash, and 2 stacks on Eternal Hunger so far. But in the bottom lane, we do have those 2 boxing, and Artanis is going to probably come out ahead there. So far, he lands a root in the Artanis low, but decides not to chase that Artanis any farther. Level 4 is getting picked up for both teams here. We see Conviction coming out from Johanna, so she's going to have extra movement speed to help with that lack of engage that might be an issue for Spooky Ghosts if they're not careful. But we see Orb trying to go out on the ETC, but instead hitting the minion wave.
ReGen Blue also found time to pick up their Night Camp without losing really any map pressure at all, so that's going to be a factor in the mid lane here.
Artanis and Arthas trading in the bottom lane a little bit again, and Icy Talons picked up for the Arthas there, giving him more attack speed as people stand in his aura, allowing him to box a little bit better. Johanna getting stunned out, rooted, W'd out, but still only getting to about half health before she's able to get away.
You're playing it pretty safe. Johanna's having some close calls here, but it is Johanna, so it's pretty hard to kill her.
I saw a meme once. It's like, should you have tried to kill Johanna? And it listed like, is there a boss up you could go take? Is there anyone else on the enemy team existing? Is there a building you can go hit? It just trying to emphasize the point that Johanna's a really hard target to kill, and generally it's not worth. But Larsen's getting super low there, but it gets healed back up by the Anduin as there isn't quite enough follow-up for Spooky Ghost. As Grendel starts taking damage instead, also getting low, but able to stay on the mini wave a little bit. Dodges the orb from Li Ming, in fact lands a root and Q on her, but has to back off as the rest of Spooky Ghost shows up. It looks like Eric with a K is going to try to turn in bottom. I was interested to see if he was going to go for the gank on this Artanis that's sitting pretty low. Arthas is sitting pretty low too. If they're not careful, someone may die there relatively soon.
Yeah, this poke out of Spooky Ghost is pretty hard to sustain. Thrall's got a pretty decent job at it later. But
Johanna got stunned and rooted and picked up and his body blocked, but it's still not enough damage as Crash Lightning continues to stack it. Maybe that would make the difference later on.
Yeah, 10 stacks, a quarter of the way there. Get there eventually.
30. It's 36, so a third of the way.
Oh, nice. Arthas gets him 20 gems. That's going to be a fact.
Yes, both teams have a tournament available if they're able to secure their gems at the tournament. Generally, you wait till level 8 to try to get it a little bit more, but blue team, Thrall is in the bottom able to pick that up for them. They're just going to let it rip and say, we're going to try to push this in now. And it is Calamity build, by the way.
Yeah, that's probably smart here. It is scary sliding into ETC Thrall, but not sliding, blinking into ETC
Kael'thas picks up the Living Bomb talent here at 7. We could see a Living Bomb build coming out of him. Do you think we'll get the Pyroblast as well?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Rhaegar not terrible dealing with Pyroblast. You just see somebody with Pyroblast and then you end. Phoenix is really good zone control, and zone control is not bad on this map. But also, Pyroblast is fun, so that's definitely something you have to consider when picking Kael'thas.
Yes, very much so. Anduin picking up Blessed Recovery, so if he eats a Li Ming Orb, he's just going to start healing for 15% of his health over 3 seconds. As Johanna's getting CC chained, but she's able to pop her Unstoppable and start walking away as this spider's about to go down. Well. Yes.
Yeah, not a bad spider wave. They got wall and a half. Tower mid and bottom too, which is not bad.
Yeah. Arthas taking Rune Tap here, able to box his own. Yeah, he's gonna just try to box people left and right. He's really focusing on that solo lane pressure to come out from him later on.
We'll see how that goes. He's got the quest done, but Eternal Hunger is an infinite stacking quest.
Yes.
So theoretically, if this game goes another hour, we could get we get triple-digit stacks.
The bonus mana does cap after 10 stacks, but the damage does continue to stack forever.
That's what you want.
Yes, the important part, the damage coming out. Pinball Wizard picked up for ETC, so he's going to have a little bit more burst than people might generally be used to seeing from him.
Yeah, Pinball Wizard's impactful on this squishy. That's my preferred ETC talent. The others are good. Ooh, Artanis goes down.
Yes, Li Ming rotated down and picked off the Artanis because they were sitting pretty low in the bottom lane for a while there. Johanna's trying to turn in 45, but it's getting interrupted by Grendel on the Thrall as Orb hits both Kael'thas and Anduin here. ETC getting rooted and poked out as they're going to try for the turn in again. Pretty hard as they do have a lot of potential ranged interrupts coming out from ReGen Blue. They're going to keep going for it here as 10s are picked up for Spooky Ghosts, and they're going to look to use this advantage potentially. It is Wave of Force and prep for the Mosh Pit potential. They're just trying to trading abilities. There's a root with the Artanis Beam, and Pyroblast is picked up by Kael'thas.
Oh man! All right, I'm looking for the big Pyroblast plays on Lehman. I want that one shot from 75 HP.
We'll see if Glass Cannon gets picked up, because I think you have to take Glass Cannon for that to be a one shot, but not by much, as she does only have 1800 health right now, and Pyroblast is 13. Johanna getting super low again, getting low. Pyroblast comes out, but so is the Ancestral. Does she have enough health? She will survive it with actually quite a bit of health left after that Ancestral lands on Johanna. It's just like you were talking about earlier that they have to watch out for that, and they're just trading cooldowns. They're actually the same cooldown length, so if they pop it at the same time, they'll always have it to match.
Yeah, that's an interesting trade. It's probably not... It's not bad to force out the Ancestral for sure. A whiff slide here. Artanis had to go bottom to clear a big wave there. But Johanna's back after Hearthing, so they are going to look to turn in.
Li Ming is trying to go for the turn in, but they see the ETC. Johanna will go for it as well here, but they do have Jason on that. Anduin able to interrupt that if he so chooses. Crash Lightning continues to stack up to 21 stacks now, and the passive from Anduin being used to pull out Thrall, but he just walks back in and then gets stunned by the Hanzo arrow. Condemn coming out as well, but ETC is able to peel off the Li Ming. But then Thrall walks into the choke again and just gets CC'd again in that with the orb coming out. Wave of Force almost killing off the Kael'thas as he's down to 250 health at one point. And that secures the turn in for Spooky Ghost, though they probably have enough gems for a second one after this is over, but we will see if they lose them before then. As we see some people, looks like they're going to 5-man commit to this bottom lane, trying to pick off the Artanis. He got rooted by the Arthas and then picked off. So many A words. Hanzo not having much mana, neither is Li Ming, so if they're not careful, they won't have any mana on their damage dealers here. If they can get Kael'thas down here for ReGen Blue, they might be able to start doing some living bomb damage, as they are pretty grouped right now.
Yeah, bottom lane is not looking long for this world. They probably get this for it, but...
Kael'thas getting rooted, but there's no follow-up there, as he's able to throw out living bombs and stuff. Purifier Beam coming out on the Arthas. Pretty interesting choice, as the Johanna's in the backline, trying to knock them off. They are peeling away ReGen Blue, but Artanis is coming back in right now, potentially. Thrall, meanwhile, cleared top and is just about to clear bottom as Arthas lands another root on the Kael'thas. But then ETC is able to stun him out with Power Slide and knock him back. So looking for a swap on Arthas, it goes under the tower. Unfortunately, Power Slide's still on cooldown. And Cleanse does come out. Q-Quest is finished by the Hanzo as Artanis, who's probably the last person you need to hit, was in this lane with them. They're continuing to push with about a quarter of the health left on this Bood.
Thrall's doing macro things. He's clearing up the other.
Thrall's about to rotate into the backline potentially. He does have Earthquake. Root on the Artanis is no. There is the Pyroblast coming out. Mosh Pit misses and hits no one, but it's the zoning Mosh that kept the enemy team from engaging. And they do get the Arthas with the Pyroblast, as Ancestral was not in range.
Yeah, they probably needed that momentum swing, so that's not a terrible tradable. Some big cooldowns, but they got something.
ReGen Blue with a turn-in option available. Johanna's able to use her blind and then use her passive to get out. Looks like it's going to be a secure turn-in for ReGen Blue here. Which lane are you looking for them to go in and push down now?
Johanna's clearing up top lane, so that won't be as big a threat, but they probably still need to go. Artanis is going to clear up bottom. I think it's got to be either top or mid. Actually is looking kind of juicy right now. It could be either.
Thrall getting rooted by the Artanis as he's out of position. Forward. He has minus armor from something, actually. Oh, the Q build from Hanzo.
Ooh, Hanzo. -2.
-2.
-2 for hit.
There's another -2 on him as they weren't quite grouped enough. 23 stacks on Crash Lightning. That should be done soon. That will probably outpace the Rhaegar's healing if they can just sit back and soak with that. Artanis flanks on the thrall again, getting him kind of low. But if he's not careful, he is separated from the rest of his team between ReGen Blue and the other Spooky Ghosts. Spooky Ghosts are now, ReGen Blue is now hitting the building. It's about a quarter of a health left. It looks like it will go down in the top lane. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Artanis is pushing this one down. It will probably drop, and the Spider mid takes that fort. They may be looking at a triple fort here, as Arthas is getting power slid, light bomb goes off, and then the W. They're changing CC very well. Ancestral comes out though, and he's still alive. And then he gets off his ult. It ghouls. He's gonna walk away. Purifier Beam, but he's already back up at a half health between the Rhaegar healing and his own healing. That is one tanky Arthas, and he's not even that build of a tanky build. Triple strike coming out from the Artanis, so look for the Titan Killer at 16 as a short striking tank. Says Kael'thas is in trouble, but he gets pulled out by the Anduin and it causes the Rhaegar to dive super deep. Meanwhile, ETC is able to use his W to get out.
Yeah, that was a good disengage. That was a really good Hanzo era, but the Anduin trait really saved him.
They take all of mid keep wall and all of bottom keep wall during this phase of the Spiders. They took triple fort, and they're going for boss. They're just letting it rip because they knew the bottom team has to clean up bottom lane first.
Yeah, that's a smart play.
Question in chat, Jason has not died yet. But look for it soon, potentially, in this team fight that's about to happen around boss as they scout it out with a Sonic Arrow. 4-man Martius! Johanna walked into it. Arthas is getting the cleanse, but it doesn't matter because he doesn't have a way of interrupting it. We have a Light Bomb hitting the Hanzo and then Pyroblast killing him off. Jason getting super low in the backline, potentially from the boss. Artanis getting power slid now as also looking to go out. Artanis eats the orb by swapping. Meanwhile, the stun almost gets hit by the boss stun on Johanna there. Shield comes out.
60 gen.
Quest is finished on the Thrall. Raise the hit level 16, and he picks up that quest as well, which will allow him to slow with this Q and potentially get 25% more damage if he ever hits all his max stacks. And Living Bomb build still coming out from the Kael'thas, who's sitting at about 40 globes now.
Yeah, that was a pretty disastrous moment there for Spooky Ghost. This is definitely keeping it. Could be the game if they're not careful.
Very much so. Allowing all these stacks from the Thrall to finish up will be very dangerous, as Rhaegar healing will not be able to keep up, as it will bounce between more people than he can heal.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid poking tool. Looks like Spooky Ghost is looking to reset. There's not much on the map that they have to be aware.
Inner focus picked up by the Anduin, so I'm looking for Kneeling Prayer at or Desperate Plea, whatever that talent's called at 20, as he can just reset that 10-second timer and only have to stun himself for 2 seconds to get off a massive, his own Ancestral, really. It looks like
really
ReGen Blue is going to look for invade on that camp, but gets taken too quickly.
That was a really good mosh pit on the boss as well. It caught Li Ming, which was the one target he really needed to make sure to... The Wave of Course is just such a reliable mosh pit. Johanna as well.
Johanna walked into it the last second before she had a chance to pop Condemn or Blessed Shield.
I've been there. Just, I clicked the wrong, and all of a sudden I'm in a mosh pit, my whole team's dead.
Yes.
Just
turn it available for Spooky Ghost, and that could be the turnaround that they need right now, but it's being zoned pretty well by the Mongoose and Grendel right now, as Thrall's getting pretty low actually as they're taking this poke. Blessed Shield coming out, but Anduin able to pull him to safety. Thrall, ECC walking, not Thrall. Thrall is walking though into the Artanis route, but it doesn't matter as turning comes out from ReGen, or from Spooky Ghost. They keep swapping the team names.
They could turn on that.
They could Hanzo Arrow hitting ECC and Artanis, but meanwhile, Hanzo in the W, or Anduin in the back, Wing people down. I am sorry, I can't speak. Hanzo getting the kill off. Ancestral coming out on the Johanna. She's going to be at half health again. Light Bomb also coming out. Anduin light bombed himself and ran into the enemy team to try to get the stun off. They are 2-1 kill right now in favor of Spooky Ghost as the Spiders are coming down. Mid lane's the only one the Spider pushed up right now, so it's the one they're pushing with, as Kael'thas takes a big Hanzo scatter arrow to the face. Thrall getting rooted out by Artanis. He's in the aura, but it doesn't matter. He's not quite focusing on keeping that aura on him, as he's instead auto-attacking him. This building will drop here. Can they defend anything else?
Spiders probably get top passively as well. Bottom should be totally fine.
Do you think it would help ReGen Blue out if Kael'thas was the Q build? To where he wasn't so reliant on the enemy spreading that bomb?
That's possible. The double convect or burned flesh at 7 really does help burst down some of those tanks. And they are very melee heavy, so you can probably get it to proc pretty reliably. But also they are very melee heavy, so bomb build isn't bad. But their melee heroes are just really messing them up. The Arthas was just such a raid boss in that last fight. They couldn't kill him at all.
Yeah. Arthas, very tanky, especially going into this late game. He's up to 32 stacks on Eternal Hunger right now.
It's not bad.
45 glows picked up for Kael'thas, so he does have his own Lucio shield, potentially, if he so chooses to pop that button. Diamond skin picked up for the Li Ming. What do you think of that talent?
That's probably smart with the Pyroblast threat. Diamond skin really does a lot to help sort of mitigate some of that damage if you can time it right.
ReGen Blue picking up Bruiser Camp, cleaning up bottom a little bit. They do have a turn-in available if they so choose to try to go force that out. Li Ming zoning one while the rest of the team zones out the other. They're keeping vision on it.
Spooky Ghost really on the back foot here. They're going to have to make something happen before level 20 if they can.
It's 4 kills to 5 right now.
To the advantage of Spooky Ghost, funnily enough, but the map pressure is just very heavily in the other
Throw
direction.
finishing his 16 quest, as long as he doesn't drop it, he'll have 25% more damage on his Q. With Crash Lightning, that is a lot of damage, as this Johanna takes half her health bar from 1 CC chain before she's able to get off her shield. But then she goes in, and Ancestral is forced out on her. Artanis rooting the Thrall in the back, Light Bomb going out as well. Artanis is getting super low, he's the Purifier Beam on top of him, he goes down. This Artanis with the tank killer build, really putting in some work there on the front line.
Yeah, that'll do it. It shredded them surprisingly.
ReGen Blue going for the boss then turned in option, it looks like, though it looks like Jason has enough to finish the turn in, so they will have spiders spawning right as they finish up this boss. They do have Flamethrower picked up by the Kael'thas, so you can play a little bit safer. Earthen Shields and Glyph of Faith, so Anduin has 2 cleanses effectively on his passive right now, as Mongoose is trying his best to zone out. He is able to zone them long enough, and the Thrall gets thrown back. Hanzo just... I said Thrall. I meant Hanzo that whole time. But Hanzo just getting picked off by the Artanis swap there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's a desperation move, fighting boss on there, but you just sort of got to pray for a miracle in that situation.
You still do, because you're down Spoiders, and now you're down your healer as well, as the boss spider combo is walking in right now. 4-man Condemn coming out from the Johanna, but they're just sitting underneath this boss. W from ETC knocking Arthas back into the boss stun as the Light Bomb goes out on Anduin again. Quarter's probably going to fall here. It's already down to 50%. The Spider's down to a quarter, but boss is pretty healthy here. And that is game 1 going over to ReGen Blue.
Yeah, pretty solid game from them. They showed some weakness, so... I'd be willing to bet Spooky Ghost could take it back in the next game, but they got their advantage and they stuck with it. They played that pretty smart.
It was pretty back and forth a lot there. As we look at some of these stats, we see Arthas tanked the most damage. Not really surprised, as he was able to really eat a lot and then heal back up, as he did 32,000 self-healing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
ETC did 53k healing though, and Rhaegar did 59. That is a lot of healing coming out from the ETC. He did pick up Prog Rock, I believe. Yeah, and so it was healing his teammates as well. And having that effectively a second healer is really good. In general, I mean, just 2 healers is kind of strong again.
Yeah, it did a lot for them that game.
Li Ming did do the most damage at 72,000.
Yeah, she had some good snipes. They weren't really able to capitalize off dominance very well. Or they just didn't have an opportunity. A lot of those fights, especially where they were getting kills, it was really back and forth. So it's hard for Li Ming to go in there and pop off and make the big Reddit-worthy play.
Apologize to our viewers. I didn't realize I didn't have an in-game capture for that screen, so you didn't get to see any of those stats. But I'll go ahead and pull them up now for you. I will fix that. I guess I hadn't used that screen yet. But there's all the stats. You can see the ETC healing here almost as much as the Rhaegar. You can see the tankiness from Arthas coming out as he did just 32,000 self-healing. You see the Li Ming damage there. Sorry for that, as I also clicked the wrong thing immediately afterwards.
Yeah, that is a lot of Li Ming damage for Tomb of the Spider Queen. Sometimes her numbers are a little bit... just because of all the minions and how hard it is to hit heroes. But she did pretty well. A lot of those fights they won. It was actually, I think, a team effort on Spooky Ghost for a lot of those fights they won. They played their heroes pretty decent.
Yeah.
But it is ReGen Black or ReGen Blue just really got a hold of the map, and it's hard to sort of shake it from them once they got that grasp.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did. It's I mean, a lot of HOTS can be summed up as momentum. I know you got to be able to control the map. I mean, people claim snowball maps a lot, but really they're just really heavy maps for map control. And once you have a little bit of lead, just keeping it there. Cursed Hollow, I know, is a popular one for Korea to blame on that. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
NA likes to pick on Braxis. Waiting to hear what the next map is. If you're Spooky Ghost, where are you looking to take ReGen Blue if you're taking the map pick?
Oh, okay. It sort of depends on, I guess, your mindset after losing a game like that. That was not. It was a dominant performance by ReGen Blue, but it definitely wasn't a stomp. Spooky Ghost held their own. I think I would probably try and play off what we know our strengths are. But they definitely had pretty solid hero control. Their macro was also not bad. Apparently not quite as good. So maybe I'd go to a map like Towers, where macro is important, but a lot of it comes down to team fights around points. I know you said Braxis was banned, and I wouldn't go to Braxis anyway. So Braxis. But that is also something to consider.
What about Ultrac Pass as a
Ultrac
really
Pass
spicy pick?
Would be an interesting pick. There's a lot of opportunities there to do pretty solid hero-based plays. Li Ming, also a very solid Li Ming map. Those points are often pretty open, except for the footmen.
And we are going to BOE is the map. Let's.
Yeah, that's probably smart. And their Hanzo and their Li Ming, not bad.
It's true.
So I'm
Hanzo,
going to be trying Spooky Ghost for this game.
ReGen Blue picked the map, so Spooky Ghost opting for the first pick. So if you're Spooky Ghost, what are you first picking here? Are you first picking that Li Ming back up before they have a chance to ban it out or pick it, really?
That's possible. If there's a threat of banning, that wouldn't be bad. I guess it depends on the bans, but...
We saw the Medivh ban last game. What would you think about Medivh getting through on this map?
It's a good Medivh map. There's a lot of team fighting, a lot of opportunities to get free stacks. The lane situation also not bad for Medivh, because there's 4 heroes in the bottom lane instead of just your usual maybe 2 or 3, or depending on how the rotation goes. The only sort of negative about Medivh is you can't really use portals to rotate between lanes, because the portal doesn't stretch like 3/4 across the. Not bad for getting around immortal points. So
yes, this map actually, very statistically speaking, is very snowbally. First fort is a 67% win rate if you take the first fort of the game. First keep is like a 97%. I believe this map actually has the highest win rate if you take the first keep of the game. And then if you take both the first 2 immortals, it's like 85. So this map showing very much so how like the passive XP on this map is very important, because you fight so long for these immortals sometimes in the middle of the map where you're not really soaking, so that passive XP just needs to build up. I think that this map actually got more snowbally after the XP changes, unlike every other map, because the passive XP just comes into so much more play here.
Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure.
So I'm looking for a lot. When I see this map, having learned all those stats, I'm looking for early race. We're not playing for 20. We're not playing for 16. We're playing to end the game at like 10, 12, 13. And we're really just kind of come out the game. Yeah. I mean, if you can win a game at level 12, 13, you should always play that strat.
Yep.
But, I mean, really, Hanzo is a really good early game racer. Vola can stay in there pretty tightly. Rhaegar, we saw the Rhaegar from last game. Are you looking for the Rhaegar pick again for the race potential from it?
Rhaegar's a solid hero on this map, but it definitely worked, I think, to their playstyle, the hero. So it wouldn't be a bad pickup. Oh, it's very solid race as well, like you said.
We also saw Artanis, and he did go amateur opponent, so if we see Artanis pick again, we could see another amateur opponent pick. And I believe Rhaegar and Artanis are actually the best 2 level 1 racers, and at level 4 they fall off to like the Hanzo and the Vala, and they just need that 1 extra talent. But you don't always have level 4 going to that first Immortal.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, lots of numbers. Try to learn all of my numbers. Actually, someone had posted like all the DPS for every single ranged assassin in the game on Reddit, and I screenshot it and I've saved it. And it was auto attacks only, so all the mages numbers were really low. But they were trying to show like the difference between a ranged auto attacker and a ranged mage, and why they should be 2 separate categories.
Right. Yeah, that's nice.
But I don't think they needed to be split. Honestly, I think it doesn't matter as much. If you're not to the point where you know the difference, then it doesn't actually matter that much in your drafts. Speaking of which, the draft is starting now.
I'm excited.
Me too.
I want to see some weird heroes. I want to see Spider build Nazeebo. I want to see Q build.
Turret build Gazlo with Robo Goblin is in the top 5 racers for the Immortal.
It's pretty good, especially at level 20. If you got that level 20 Immortal anyway, that's the one that's going to be winning the game. So
yeah,
that's the one you want to get.
I mean, if you're playing for the late game, the level 20 Robo Goblin Gazlo is going to get you that Immortal.
You're just a butcher. You're just a robot butcher
with turrets.
Yeah.
Butcher could be an interesting pick here as well. We do see the Artanis ban because they know that ReGen Blue plays it, because it's so good in the early game race, because it has the giant AoE blind option. It's banned out. Are you looking for the Rhaegar ban then to match that?
That would be a strong ban. I don't know if that's worth banning out, but it wouldn't be a waste of a ban. That would be sending him.
We have the Medivh ban again though. A little scared of the Medivh. Could be from scouting, that they know that Medivh players strong on Spooky Ghosts. You didn't think it was quite as strong on this map, but do you think it was still worth the ban?
Yeah, Medivh is sort of just a nonsense hero. If you ever really get, you could land like a really sick combo, and then Medivh just makes it all not happen. So it's a smart ban. He's annoying to play against, fun to watch, but
Kael'thas banned out as well. Do you think they were scared of the Living Bomb or the Pyroblast?
Could be a bit of both. Kel'Thas is also decently safe poke on the not the best racer, but pretty solid overall.
Ana banned out again because she's good at racing, though I don't know her DPS numbers. I'm sure they're nowhere near high enough to consider her a good racer, but her healing is
that level 20 with the attack speed.
Attack speed plus all the other auto attack talents like the level 1 healing, but she is still really good at healing. She can pick people out of stuns if they are caught in the Immortal spin to wins. Johanna picked up for Spooky Ghost again. Did you like it last game? Are you looking forward to it again this game?
Yeah, it didn't look bad last game for sure. I guess we'll see how the draft shakes. Johanna definitely is a smart pick. Not as good macro wise, just sort of in general, but Johanna is, I mean, she's obviously pretty solid macro wise. Very good in a team fight.
ETC Sylvanas picked up for ReGen Blue here. ETC is the tank they ran last time. It's played very well. Sylvanas able to burn the Immortal a little bit, as Mercenary Queen at level 4 does in fact do bonus damage to monsters and not just mercenaries like the talent says. And Valarial picked up for Spooky Ghost, a very solid combo that we've seen time and time again with the Ana banned out. Ariel I think is a little underrated right now, as she has received a lot of buffs. Yeah, you still have to wait 4 seconds, but it's 4 seconds for like an 800 AoE heal. It's like an Uther Q on every 4 seconds AoE, and that's really good, especially with the Vol that's going to be boosting it. Leo banned out from BOE. It's true, he's banned from BOE for this game at least,
That's true.
But by ReGen Blue. Do you think that they're going to pick Cho'Gall?
They definitely could. Offlane Johanna is an option. It's not terrible. Cho'Gall's sort of not in the best spot right now, meta-wise, but if they got a Cho'Gall legend, then I would love to see it.
Ariel is picked up already by Spooky Ghost. They'd have to think of a heal they want with that. I personally like the Morales, but instead, Spooky Ghost banning out the Lili so they don't have the crazy Panda T.
Interesting.
Chen picked up. There's the other Panda. We have one Panda banned, one Panda picked. 6 months ago, if you told people that people were going to be contesting Chen on almost every map, especially BOE, people think you're crazy. But here we have Chen.
Chen.
We saw Chen last cast on this map. Very good at picking off backliners. Could pick off this Vala potentially, especially with the Alarak. Do you think the Alarak will go the charge to try to dive with the Chen, or do you think he's going to play it safer with the Counter-Strike?
A Chen and an Alarak in a backline is a scary combination. But I am a very tame Alarak player, so I pick Counter-Strike because I'm scared. But if he goes the deadly charge, that might be exciting.
Could be. Phoenix picked up for Spooky Ghost as long as the Uther. I'm excited. I love Uther right now. I think tanking Uther especially is super good.
Spooky Ghost playing to win. That's a scary team.
And Mouth picked up as the healer for ReGen Blue. A healer who's pretty mixed opinion-wise, it seems, in the community. Some think he's undertuned, some think he's still really solid, just not the first pick material with that Ana. How do you feel about the Malfurion right now?
Malfurion is weird. I don't personally love him, and he doesn't get a lot of play as far as I know. He's not bad on paper. The heal over time is really solid, sustain just for your entire team. And their team's damage isn't very fast, so Malf might get a lot of value.
I mean, if you're looking at the difference between double support and you having a single support, a sustain healer like Malf could come into play a lot. On ReGen Blue, we have Mongoose on the ETC again, Larson playing the Sylvanas, Augustin on the Alarak, Grendel on that Chen, and Jason playing the Malfurion.
Spooky Ghost, we got Little Wolf on Ariel, Caligulus on Uther, Rogoth on Johanna, Boundary X on Phoenix, and Eric with a K on...
Loading into this map, we will pull up... I'm definitely expecting at least Mercenary Queen from the Sylvanas. Do you think she'll go Q or W before she picks her talent?
W build is not too shabby on the point. I think Q build's a little underrated, but you can get some pretty good stacks in those immortal fights. W build is probably the pick.
How do you think this Chen will do against the Phoenix matchup in the off lane?
Ooh, I haven't played as much new Chen as I've played old Chen, but I know that old Chen felt pretty bad into Phoenix, especially since he doesn't get elusive brawler till 7 now.
Very true, very true.
So it could...
Still hasn't picked her talent. Neither is the Alark pick up his Extended Lightning. He is going the Lightning quest as pretty traditional right now. Phoenix did go mobile offense, so as he's stutter stepping, he will get bonus damage. Q build coming out from the Uther. We'll see how long it takes for him to stack, as that's really what determines the value. But I'm expecting Holy Shock at 4, and Holy Shock plus the Q quest at level 1 means that his Q only costs 5 mana if used on an enemy hero. As we see CC going out, the Vala got kind of low and kind of a risky spot, but was able to flip out as Zohana was able to peel for them.
Yeah, that was a scary slide on Vala, but with an Uther giving armor and an Ariel, hard to kill.
They're just kind of trading damage right now. Neither team really in that much threat of killing someone, as we do have Sylvanas going W quest. As ETC power slides in the middle of all of them, that could be the reason you die, but instead he was able to walk out with half health and starts getting healed up between his own self-healing and the Mouth. And
Alarak barely missed his Q there. And no Ruthless Momentum, so that's still going to be offline for a little bit.
Yes. 22 Q stacks already on this Uther, so he's looking pretty solid as the Alarak tries to silence an unstoppable Johanna. And the healing coming out from Spooky Ghost really is mattering here, as never mind, Johanna goes down in first blood from the Mouth Root, securing it. Pretty good Mouth Root so far, and Uther did run completely out of mana right as the Johanna got rooted there.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Still a hard life for an Uther. As a 2014 hero in 2019, but
very much so, as Root going out on both the healers here, but it doesn't matter as there's not really enough follow-up to match that just yet, but they do have the camp and they could be looking to push here as Johanna returns to the lane.
No Merc Queen, interesting. Or Merc Queen still later. No,
yep, 4. Up top, they're just kind of trading, soaking, nothing too aggressive happening there. As ReGen Blue is going for an early camp here for their Bruiser, as the Immortal doesn't spawn for another minute. They might be looking to hold that cap after securing it.
Yeah, definitely. It's still a little bit early, but...
nope, they're just going to let it rip here, as Jason is at half mana and half health, so he's going to take the bag. Grendel did take a lot of damage up top, but so did Phoenix, as they must have traded at some point that we missed.
Phoenix is going to have the advantage of that, because half his health bar is regenning shield.
Yes, and because of the shield, he didn't have to tap, as Grendel was forced to tap there. As Grendel dives in on top of him, but Phoenix just blinks out.
Yeah, he's playing it safe. That's probably smart from Phoenix.
Spooky Ghost didn't leave, only left an Uther actually to defend from this Bruiser camp, and the end. ReGen Blue has a Sylvanas, so you can't let them have an inch here, or they'll take a mile from you, as it's in fact Holy Fire from the Uther, and not Holy Shock, as his self-sustain will be a little bit lower, but he'll have a little bit more wave clear options? Question mark?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that one. It's
Power slide on this
Vala.
Vala getting super low, but the Ariel and Uther heals coming out for her as Alarak is getting stunned out, but the Malfruit peeling off. And Malf does go anti-heal here, so they have a chance to kill something in the Malfruit if they so land it.
Yeah, anti-heal's probably smart. I don't usually prefer it over the big root. Versus Ariel Uther, that's probably a good pick.
As it is 40%, 40% is a lot. This Phoenix is still at kind of low health, but does have a shielding, as Ariel is taking a lot of damage from the Sylvanas W here.
It's hard for them to go in here, but they're just defending hard. That gives Chen time to clear the Immortal. They just sort of gotta go here.
Ooh, the Phoenix getting super low, but Ariel just able to heal that up as soon as that anti-heal falls off, as Alarak is now the one that looks like he's in danger, as Malf is going to need time, but Malf gets stunned almost in time to get the Immortal stun, but Phoenix is chasing that down. Sylvana's getting chased down by the Vala slightly above that.
Yeah, I missed that. Good pickoff from the Vala. Yeah, she broke off a little while ago. I wasn't sure where she was going. I guess Sylvanas got caught out.
The super long fights will probably go in favor of Spooky Ghost, as they have double auto attack and double support. So I feel like the ReGen Blue just needs to let it rip a little bit earlier here. They need that Chen to be able to go in.
Yeah, Chen's finally here. He cleaned up that camp in the top lane. So.
He's looking to walk around here as he's letting the ETC give him vision. He's going to drink up a little bit just in case. Not as powerful the early drink as it used to be. Because of the extra cooldown, as he's already lost it, but Uther's there to stun him out as he goes on this Ariel and Vala. He's just able to flip over. Phoenix super low in the back, had to blink across the wall. Doesn't matter, as they're starting to pump out a lot of damage on this Immortal Cell, and the Immortal will go the way of Spooky Ghost. Johanna down to 180 health, but then is able to walk away. Sylvanas getting super low as well, but is able to also walk away, willing Ghost just in case.
She didn't end up going Mercenary Queen, which is probably smart. Also, negatively charged in Alarak, not seeing the show of force that we're seeing sometimes, usually from Alarak. He-Build's sort of fallen off, I think, in favor of Ruthless Momentum and show of force, but Alarak's sticking to the old build. Well, the new old build.
Alarak getting stunned by the Immortal there behind the gate as the wall does go down. Johanna walks in instantly to try to get some damage off on the ETC, and so honest, the root hitting both Caladius and Eric with a K. As the whole wall is now fallen, and this Immortal is still looking pretty healthy as it hits this. But Johanna's getting super low on the other side. She still has her shield available, and ETC does not have a shield available, so he's probably going to fall here, as he does eventually fall to the power of the Ariel.
Yeah, that was a big slide, but just not quite enough damage to follow up on it. Plus the huge Ariel and Uther.
Vala going into the W build, which is the real old build for Valariel, as it allowing her to get Ariel a full bar if she's able to hit the enemy heroes with her W. This Immortal
that is surprising.
I think if you have Phoenix and Vala, you don't necessarily need to go into Q build for more race, especially if the enemy team is running Sylv as their only main racer.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Hindered motion from the Alarak there, getting the slow on telekinesis. Another interesting talent.
Yeah, that could come into play. That slow is decently impactful. They have a lot of heroes that don't want to be very slow. Maybe not the worst bet, but the grab range from whatever that other level 7.
All 5 members of Spooky Ghosts are up here looking to go for this camp potentially.
Ooh, this could be a disaster if
Johanna out on 2 already, getting the slow from her level 7 talent. The Malf root gonna clear out or zone out the Vala and Ariel from helping chase that, so they will get out of that, but the camp will go the way of Spooky Ghosts. Meanwhile, Chen is soaking bottom lane, trying to make up that difference in XP, as it's just it's across the level, but it's really not really that much of a difference just yet.
It's not too bad. These towers might make a difference on the race to 10 though, for sure.
They certainly will, as Johanna goes down, and her death could also make a big race or difference in that race. 4 people walking into the Malf route, one at different times there. Johanna is popping unstoppable and going on this ETC, as ETC isn't the beefiest tank, but it doesn't matter as he does have them backing on the Malf healer. He's able to power slide in here, but gets stunned by the Ariel. Meanwhile, Vala's staying on the route, and ETC falls, and Alarak's looking pretty low too, as he also goes down to the Johanna blind.
Yeah, that was an over-ambitious slide, I think, with all those CC cooldowns still.
Tens picked up for the way Spooky Ghost. They picked up not only Aegis, but also Divine Shield with lots of defensive talents. And they have both forts down. This game is looking very favorable for Spooky Ghost right now. What do you do if you're ReGen Blue?
Yeah, Spooky Ghost is in a strong position. I think you just gotta play back and do what your team does good, which is just sort of go in and not let them dictate the fight. ETC, really, he's going to be looking for big slides that his DPS can follow up on. Chen's going to have to be looking for a pick. I think it really relies on Chen. Chen hasn't been in a lot of these fights.
I think Tens on ReGen Blue is a little bit stronger, as they have Stormwrath Fire, Wailing Arrow. Yeah. They went Twilight Dream, so they have 2 silencing ults. It is Counter-Strike, and it is Mosh Pit. These are game-defining ults sometimes. So we're
Twilight Dream could be huge here.
Vola did get some by the Immortal, so has to back up here as ETC goes on her in the backline. Hasn't packed his stagger just yet. Mosh hitting 2-1, but he gets cleansed out of it by the Uther. Meanwhile, silence on the Johanna and then silence on 4. 4-man Twilight Dream coming out from Jason there as he's able to walk in there because his root was zoning, and that fight did look very nice. And Chen ult is still there. He can still go in and just kill Vola. In fact, he pops it right now and goes on the Vola using the root. But Divine Shield makes it not matter, but he instead swaps target the RO, but without the root or the empowerment on the fire, it doesn't matter as much. But the Immortal for ReGen Blue is still at half, so they still are forced to zone here. They need someone to go race for them.
Yeah, not bad here from ReGen Blue, but they are, like you said, pretty behind on this race. Did they already have halftime? I think they did.
They just had halftime.
Yeah, so they are in trouble. Spooky Ghost just going to take their camp.
Savannah's up to 75 stacks on the 77 stacks on W so far. That's just going to keep going in these long fights, but until they edge out...
It's not even 10 minutes. That's a lot of stacks for this early. That could definitely be an impact later. Uther really doesn't want to have to deal with all that spread damage.
Luckily he has the Ariel there who can heal AoE very quickly. But the Savant is getting a lot of value there as he's able to throw the Wailing that gives full stacks and then W. Vola hitting, or 2 people going into the root already. Ended up Aegis going out, but it doesn't matter. Phoenix all just shredding the opposing team there. Uther also low, but so is Vola in the backline, but it doesn't matter if you're down 2 players already. Still looking to go down as well. Chen in this back, gonna probably fall. Tries to take the Vola with him, but just not enough.
That was a great Crystal Aegis. It totally swung momentum of that fight. Just totally. ReGen Blue had a great
Salvo.
It looked like they would have gotten more kills.
The damage from Salvo was huge as Johanna was able to condemn and get a Q off on a lot of players there, allowing it to crit, and it really just shredded the enemy team.
Yeah, that was a really textbook counter engage from Spooky Ghost.
It was. I mean, how do you come back now as ReGen Blue? You're down almost a 200% health Immortal. You're down 13 talents. You're down 2 forts. What are you looking at?
This is a hard situation. It really, I think a lot of it depends on how well they clean up this Immortal. With Sylvanas, it's still going to be hard. They might lose keep. Chen's doing macro stuff, which I think is smart here. He can't really...
Converging Force picked up by the Ariel. Interesting choice. To just shift people a little bit. But more importantly, rapid recharge from the Phoenix. Anytime he's healed, he's going to get 60% of that healing as an additional shield. It's going to be really hard to kill him behind double support.
Yeah, that's not a pick we see very often from Phoenix, but with double support, that is a smart play.
Our Johanna going in, they're able to blow up the mouth already, and the stun coming out from the Immortal, killing off the ETC with the Purified Beam as Alarak also goes down. Do you think we're looking at game here?
That is disastrous.
ETC or Chen popping ult in the back. He roots 3, but Divine Shield going out on Johanna, who was the lowest, and if he's not careful, he'll lose all 3 of his mini pandas.
I think he does.
All 3 mini pandas go down, so Chen dies, unlike the old interaction there.
And the pals are defeated.
Johanna getting super low, but just not quite low enough as the Uther's able to stun her and has the debuff at 13. 3% on core, 1%, and that's game. We're going to game 3.
Very exciting.
That was exciting. It was snowbally. We did see it go back and forth a little bit in the middle, but we saw all the Immortals going the way of Spooky Ghost. We saw them take 2 early forts. All those stats we talked about before the game started, we saw all that come into play as they just won the game off the early objectives.
Yeah, ReGen Blue, they had a couple spots where they were showing signs of life, but Spooky Ghost really kind of held it down there.
It felt like they lacked the race that they needed to keep up there. It's really what it felt like they were missing.
Drafting on Battlefield is tough. Sylvanas is a solid racer. W build doesn't super do it. And Alarak autos are good. Chen is not terrible, but Phoenix Vala is just so aggressive.
We actually see that both Malf and Malf lost in healing to both Uther and Ariel, in fact. Ariel pumping out 51,000 healing.
It's a lot of healing.
And I think that
those Malf numbers aren't incredible, but he did provide a lot of utility for his team between the roots, which were really good, and the Twilight Dreams were also pretty big. But it is really hard to compete with double healer.
Sylvanas, on the other hand, with that W build, was able to pump out the most hero damage by about 5,000 over the Vala. Surprised
a lot of stats.
Phoenix and Chen must not have been trading much, as the Phoenix number isn't super high. It looks about right for all the purification salvos he was landing, but not really for in the lane trading.
Yeah, it's hard to bully Chen as well as you used to be able to. He's got a lot of ways to mitigate that damage.
Yeah, Stagger being very good there. If you're ReGen Blue, are you looking to take first pick, or are you looking to take the map pick here?
Ooh, that is a good question. If they got a map that they prefer, maybe map pick, but generally I think it's probably not a bad idea.
I agree.
It's generally safer.
I generally like to go the first pick route as well. Just pick the strongest hero you can. It doesn't really matter the map you're on as much. If you're Spooky Ghost, which map are you going to pick if you end up with map pick here?
Oh, they did play Battlefield pretty well, so maybe Braxis was a target ban. Maybe they're good on it too. Like, is Hanamura on the map pool?
No, unfortunately not.
That's probably for the best. So probably not Hanamura.
We have 10 out of 13 maps, and the 3 maps not included in the hero pool or the map pool right now are Hanamura, Blackhearts, and Garden of Terror. I don't think is an NGS's Warhead. Garden of Terror might actually. Maybe it's 14 maps now.
That's a lot of maps.
Yes.
I want to see Haunted Mine.
I used to be on a team that we went to Haunted Mines. It was best of ones back in cheerleague day, and we always went to Haunted Mines, and we always just won. We don't know why. We don't know what we did that was special about Haunted Mines. We just played it and won. It's like, all right.
Right.
We didn't cheese it. We just played the map. Like, we actually did the objective every time. But unfortunately, that's not in the map pool. In fact, the map we are going to is Curse Hollow, a pretty neutral map. Figure out who picked
nothing
it
really
here.
Crazy you can do on Curse.
Looks like Spooky Ghost did pick this map. Let me invite you actually to the game here. So, we're going to Curse Hollow. We're going into a Game 3 scenario. So, what do you pick here as your first pick if you're ReGen Blue?
Depending on how comfortable you're with it, and Abathur could be pretty solid here. This is one of Abathur's better maps, I think. There's a lot of macro stuff he's able to do pretty safely. The fights you don't always commit to, and it's one of the few maps still in the map pool that you can just sort of say, I don't want that objective. I'm just gonna leave it and go do other. So, and that's something that Abathur's pretty good at, doing stuff while other people are doing the objective.
I generally look more towards the Dahaka. It's a little bit safer. More people are more flexible with it. I played with people that don't really play Abathur that much, which is part of the reason, but Abathur is really good. I think it's ReGen Blue, has one game with TLV. Do you think we will see the Lost Vikings come out? I want it too. I'm a huge fan of TLV.
I'm an old Vikings man. I like to see them whenever they pop up their 3 little. So it's a good Vikings map as well. Like I said before, being able to sort of just give up that objective if you're in a disadvantageous is pretty good. And also if you draft some pokes so you can stall the objectives while Vikings soak lanes that your other heroes aren't able to. It's a pretty good combination.
With the changes in XP, it doesn't matter if you lose an early 4-2 as much if you have TLV, because you're still able to soak all 3 lanes, and that passive XP just isn't going to outrace you until they take about 4 buildings. The draft is starting here, and his first pick will go to ReGen Blue as well as to the first ban. Are you thinking it's going to be the Medivh bans again?
That's probably smart. They've been pretty consistent. I'd be surprised if Ana got through. Medivh especially on this map, there's so much race. Yeah, there it is, first ban. He can go over the rocks, over the solid terrain. A lot of Cursed Hollow is zoning people so they have to go around the long way for a tribute, but Medivh, just throw a portal over the wall.
I'm looking for the Gust Volstead to come from behind and steal a boss on his own.
That'll be fun. I haven't seen one of those in person in a while.
Yeah, very hard to pull off as a lot of players are aware of it. Second ban about to come out from Spooky Ghost as they ban out the Kel'Thas again. Kel'Thas really impactful in Game 1 for ReGen Blue.
He's a good hero, good solid hero. Doesn't really have a lot of weaknesses anymore. He has a stun and a big shield, so he's hard to sort of kill if you're positioning smart.
There is the ban again. The same 2 bans came out from ReGen Blue in all 3 games, regardless of the map. Which is not something you see, but usually means that it is specific target bans that people are scared of.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Ana and Medivh are also 2 super annoying heroes. So
they are. Ana with the 100% anti-heal, super annoying to play against.
Ooh, unless you're Stitches, and then it's only 85% anti-heal.
Artana's banned out again, so it's the same bans as last game. If you win a game, it ain't broke, and if it ain't broke, you ain't gonna fix it, you know?
That is interesting, getting your Artanis out of here. It's not really, Cursed isn't really a super popular Artanis map. He's good for doing camps with amateur opponents. I guess that is a specific target ban. They didn't want to deal with those big slots.
Anduin first picked up for ReGen Blue again. The same as first game. Did they have it last game?
Anduin, I think, was banned out.
No, they had the mouth. They had the mouth.
Yeah, they did have the mouth. I don't
But
remember.
they're picking up the Anduin again, which is a favorite for ReGen Blue here. Or, well, in general, it's a favorite for them. Jason did do very well in the first game. He does like to light bomb himself and run into the enemy team, which was interesting, not relying on his team to deliver the bomb for him. Meanwhile, Diablo Greymane on the Spooky Ghost team. That is looking very nice. Diablo is a top pick for Spooky Ghost. And then the instant Garrosh Tychus counter.
Oh no! It's a disaster. That is, you hate to see that as a Diablo.
Are you more scared of the Garrosh or the Tychus right now for Diablo?
Generally the Garrosh, but the taunt, or even just the EQ into Tychus trait is really, like, that is one of the best ways to kill it.
Meanwhile, though, Diablo plus Greymane can also potentially just kill the Tychus if he's not careful on his positioning, as Jaina's banned out by Spooky Ghost.
Greymane also not bad into Garrosh if he opts for that Cursed Bullet.
Yes, Cursed Bullet up to 40% of current health right now. Really good. So good, in fact, I see people taking the level 20 upgrade just to chunk entire teams down with it. With his auto attack buff as well, also going to be able to shred these bosses very well. Lucio banned out by ReGen Blue. Lucio is the number 1 healer picked by Spooky Ghost so far in NGS.
He's a good hero. Speed boost Diablo, very scary to get into position. Lucio also pretty good on Cursed Hollow to sort of move his team around the map and move his team around those Nero choke. So that's
also can't really be body blocked as he's going to wall ride around a lot there.
Yep, that's true.
Also with the AoE shield, able to save both Greymane and Diablo. But we have Chen Mouth picked up by Spooky Ghost here. A little bit of flop on who's picking what. Lots of dive coming out from Spooky Ghost here. Do you think this Mouth is going to be able to keep up with it?
It's going to be a struggle. Mouth not terrible into dive heroes because you just throw a dot on your dude and then you just W.
Do you think it will matter? Do you think he's just there to heal people up after they dive? Like, they'll just dive, the team fight will be over one way or the other, and if they win, Mouth can heal them up?
That's probably true.
There is the Abathur you were talking about coming out from ReGen Blue, as well as a Thrall.
So, give me my last Viking. I want the Abathur counter.
The TLV. 3 melee Mouth TLV. Let's see it. Kel'Thas is gone.
Not the worst Vikings team. I've seen worse.
It's not the worst.
I've played in worse.
But instead they pick up the Zarya, a triple tank combination coming out from Spooky Ghost there.
Still fun. I shouldn't be disappointed. I am a little.
I'm excited to see.
Cool team.
Do you think they will pick up the 50% movement speed boost for Zarya, which is a very popular talent and very strong?
Definitely possible. The 50% move speed on a Garrosh is really insane, but the Garrosh is on the other team. So.
What about for like a Greymane though?
Yeah, it's crazy move speed on a Greymane. On a Chen, it's pretty good. Diablo also. So maybe. The gimme 20 pretty good for helping sustain your team up, and you might need it to save from Garrosh throws. Yeah, the Zarya I think is a smart pick.
I think it's going to be a very interesting pick. I think if they're going to live or die by this Zarya pick. Mongoose on this Garrosh, Larson playing the Tychus, August Sun playing the Thrall, Grendel playing the Abathur, and Jason on that Anduin.
For Spooky Ghost, we got Little Wolf playing the strongest woman in the world, Zarya. We got Caligulus, Chen. We got Eric with a K playing Malfurion. We got Boundary X on Greymane, and Rogoth on Diablo.
No portrait synergy from either team. A little disappointing, honestly.
Yes, that is slightly disappointing. That's okay, nobody's broken.
Feast on
Ooh,
Fear.
Grendel. Grendel does have that pretty sick Abathur skin, so I'm going to have to give ReGen Blue the advantage.
The Golden Mecha Abathur.
He shelled out like 2,400 shards for that.
Yeah. Feast on Fear picked up by a Diablo, so he's going to be able to heal for 12% of his health every time he shadow charges or overpowers someone. Not the globe talent that you generally sometimes see. As Boundary X and Claudius going straight to lanes here because of the Abathur.
Yeah, that's probably smart into Garrosh. Although, I mean, you do kind of want to take that mid fight at the enemy team's Abathur, and you are
Locust build coming out from Abathur.
That is interesting.
Q build for the Zarya as well.
Better than it used to be, but
yeah, you don't normally see Locust build, as Locust was heavily nerfed in his last rework, soft rework, as it was. Zarya going for the Q build, not feel the heat, so not the pushing power, but the more team fight oriented with the poke.
Feel the heat. Garrosh doesn't really threaten Zarya unless she's standing there auto-attacking, so Feel the Heat could be a double-edged sword. Oh, look how long it takes to kill those Locusts. That could be a problem later in the game.
We have 3 members of ReGen Blue here, waiting to see if they could pick someone off who's going to rotate bottom. But Spooky Ghost not really looking to send anyone down there at all, because the Greymane is pushing into this Abathur pretty well. Larson heads down there now for ReGen Blue.
Yeah, talents are pretty standard overall. We got Rejuvenation on Malfurion. I don't really know what people are picking on Malf anymore.
From my understanding, the order is when you first start to play Malf again, you pick Rejuvenation. Then, once you get used to it, you take the auto attack buff on Moonfire, because you learn you don't need that much self-healing. Zarya is stepping into the tower shots there with her shield up to get that extra energy here. With only Jason here to defend, they could be looking to push, but they don't know that, so they're playing it a little bit safer. Meanwhile, Thrall is picking up the siege camp while Garrosh is top.
Yeah, Zarya really wants to be able to step up and push.
Tychus and Greymane are trading pretty heavily in the bottom lane right now. They got both below half, and both teams members using their mobility to get out there. Pretty close call for both teams there.
Not bad at trading onto people. That minigun damage really can take you by surprise.
If Abathur hat was picked up, was put on him a little bit quicker, we could have seen a kill. As Boundary X, not as Boundary X, picking up the siege camp. We do have Abathur mines in the way that are gonna potentially block off Spooky Ghost being able to rotate quickly back up here, as they do have 3 people in the bottom half of the map as the objectives looking to spawn top lane in 32 seconds.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Called that right.
Nice. We got thick skin on Greymane, which is interesting. I guess he's scared of the Thrall damage.
Or the Tychus could also be an issue here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess blocking a couple autos off Tychus
is... As Chen gets thrown away from his building, he does have Stagger going, but it doesn't matter if no one's there to save him. As he's getting lower and lower here, he does have the kick, and the Zarya shield comes there, and with the movement speed, able to run to his tap in time. Meanwhile, Thrall's going to take a lot of damage as he gets thrown into the building. But doesn't matter when Greymane shows up, he's able to kill him. Meanwhile, he's taking a lot of damage from that Tychus and gets down to 150 health there. As Chen starts the channel here, Diablo blocking the root, but Diablo throw, or Garrosh throw on the Diablo to interrupt. Larson's about to get root if he's not careful, and would have died from that most likely.
Yeah, that was a good dodge.
But dodges it out. They do lose a whole wall here, but bottom is starting to take damage as well, as Abathur's not the best to defend from siege camps, but is prolific dispersal at 4. As I struggled to pronounce the talent name. She was just said. In the Rhythm is picked up for Tychus. Do you think we'll get the 13 healing, even though the interaction was nerfed a little bit?
Potentially. I don't remember. There's the Neo Steel frame and then the Q talent at 13 too? Yeah,
The
I'm not
queue
sure.
slows by, I think, 30% when anyone's in it.
Yeah, might as well get the healing, I guess. You're not really gonna get much out of Neo Steel Code.
Relentless Soldier picked up for Tychus. Let him help out if he is charged by the
That's
Diablo.
smart, yeah. That should help him with the roots and the stuns. And,
Mule picked up for the Abathur here, as Elusive Brawlers picked up for the Chen this game, and Malviolence picked up for the Diablo, as he's going a little bit into the auto attacks there.
Huh. Yeah, that's probably not bad. You're gonna want this team wants to just kill people fast. Oh, Thrall is in a scary spot if they find him. Okay, get Garish, gotta get Throw, so that won't be effective.
Root going out on the Diablo as he walks in, but then the Thrall gets stunned out by him, and Jason's not able to pull him out in time. Mongoose is stunning out.
Flank there that turned bad real fast.
Yes, Mongoose needs to be careful here, as he might go down as he gets rooted by the mouth, and he's not able to pop his Unstoppable fast enough, and will go down to the Greymane damage. Jason's able to stand right underneath this tree and throw out W's and autos to interrupt a little bit there. A little hard to catch vision off him in that exact spot if you don't see his health bar. Meanwhile, Spooky Ghost able to steal this bruiser camp, zoning out with the Treant picked up that they have 5 stacks on already. I'm excited for Little Broccoli.
I love Treant. He's my best friend.
I love Treant. I've always liked Treant and all of their works. They're actually, Spooky Ghosts are just going to go straight for the boss, knowing the enemy team has an Abathur, which means they really are only playing with 4 right now.
Spooky Ghost is here for the big plays. They're going hard here.
Will this get sniffed out by ReGen Blue in time, as they're about to rotate Thrall and Tychus and Anduin down that way? If they're not careful, they're actually just going to die. As the Thrall gets rooted out by the mouth, Diablo might be able to shoot, but Diablo gets rooted by the Thrall and then gets Thrall stunned.
Barely too late. This could turn really bad.
Very much so. His Thrall is still super low with the Greymane on top of him, but Anduin's able to root him out. Meanwhile, Garrosh falls to the mouth root on the other choke point there. Chen's still diving underneath the tower on the Tychus, but walks away soon afterwards. He's just going to drink it up a little bit.
Garrosh gave his life for his team. They almost had a decent engage there, but it wasn't quite enough. This early game habit, they're really... Spooky Ghosts are doing a great job of punishing the early game weaknesses of Abathur.
Very much so. Thrall getting rooted by the boss as he's trying to clear it out here. If they're not careful, though, this is not only going to be a double boss blade coming out from Spooky Ghost, but potentially Cursed as well. And Cursed with boss this early in game could be devastating to a team that's running Abathur.
The good news for ReGen Blue is that they have Mule to fix up that fort that the boss didn't end up killing, but they'll probably almost certainly lose top here with
Tychus going in, throwing 1 grenade, interrupting Eric with a K here. But just giving time for Spooky Ghost to finish up the boss before they cap, so making sure it's pushing for the whole duration. Meanwhile, Abathur's forced to back here as he's scared of what will happen. In fact, Chen almost jumps across the wall in time to catch him. Graviton Surge picked up as Storm, Earth, and Fire. Graviton Surge really strong now at level 20 with that silence and a 4-second duration.
And the
3.5 seconds.
Well, not so new anymore, but the 60% or the 60-second cooldown is really pretty crazy.
We do not have Bullet coming out from the Greymane. Instead, we have Go for the Throat, so potentially trying to chain kills here.
Yeah, that's smart. I'd say if Spooky Ghosts were behind, you sort of gotta go Bullet, but with the super aggressive playstyle they've been having, that Go for the Throat is probably gonna get a lot of kills.
Spooky Ghost having Graviton looking for the APOC follow-up potentially. They do throw it out, but everyone on the enemy team able to pop out of it. Meanwhile, Storm, Earth, and Fire rooting 3, but Light Bomb doing a combination back for the stuns though. Tychus sitting in the back, trying to auto-attack these people down. 2 mini pandas are down, but it times out, so Chen respawns with his full health bar. Teams are trading health back and forth here. Meanwhile, the boss is still pushing half health on the keep. Curse is ending here. Grendel's super low. That was a clone. That was a clone of Tychus. Meanwhile, boss stun still going out, and this Mongoose of a Garrosh looking to go down here, as he in fact does fall. And Tychus falls on the other hand side to Zarya Diablo. They're still going in on Spooky Ghost here. This could be a quick game if they're not careful. Jason getting super low on the Anduin. And Thrall not much better here. Quarter health, or third of a health left on this boss. Meanwhile, they're just killing this core really quick.
Greymane Zarya.
Greymane Zarya, Mouth, Chen, Diablo looking like the winning comp here. 17% left. If they had feel the heat, this has been over already. 2%, and that is game. Spooky Ghost taking the W in a comeback reverse sweep series.
That was a decisive game from Spooky Ghost. They really knew what game they wanted to play, and they didn't ReGen Blue dictate that match for a second.
No, they did not. They punished the Abathur pick by just snowballing with this triple tank setup that they had. In fact, 0 kills to 7.
That feels bad sometimes. They really punished. All the stats are so low just because of how like that is the dream versus an Abathur. Like they really punished that Abathur.
The double boss play working out there, very much so in the favor of Spooky Ghost. I mean, yeah, all the stats are low. It's hard to be like that impressed by them. The Malfurion doing 25,000 healing. Malfurion has about the same healing this game as the Malfurion did last game.
That's true. That is true.
All right. Need a second here. 2, 5. All right. So we are gonna move down to NGS channels for an interview with the captain of Spooky Ghost, Little Wolf.
Hello.
Hello, Little Wolf.
How's it going?
It's going well, though it feels like it might be going a little bit better for you as you have the reverse sweep come out against ReGen Blue.
Yeah, that was great. We've been playing rather poorly this season, so it's exciting that we went in there and we communicated well today as a team, which was really exciting to kind of see come together again, which is great. Both of those compositions at the end we've never tried.
Oh, really? They looked very smooth. So do you guys run that Malf often? Because Malf is a little unusual, let alone to see it twice in a series.
Which one?
Malf. You guys picked Malf in game 3, and they picked Malf in game 2.
Yeah, no, we don't run him often. So I'm the support player for my team. So the heroes that I'm most comfortable on right now are
Lucio's
Ana,
one.
Lucio, and probably Anduin and Alexstrasza to an extent. Probably Rhaegar too. But my good friend Eric, he's usually our solo laner. He plays a really good Malfurion. And I've played Zarya in the past. I started this game just playing Overwatch heroes. Yeah. So I knew I could play her. And we thought she would make kind of... she would fit well into what their team wanted to do as far as getting picks.
Yeah, the Zarya, I mean, after the draft, we basically looked at it and went, it's live or die on the Zarya back, like, whether or not the Zarya performs well. And based on how that game came out, I'd say it performed very well.
Yeah, so mainly we were looking, they were looking for the delete, on a character. So a good example was that throw on the Diablo near the bottom objective in the middle of the game. Mm-hmm. And just that type of situation with the Garrosh, if they really don't secure that pick right away, the team's ability to really fight kind of peters out quite a bit. So in that situation, I think the Zarya getting, powered up based off of, that damage being focused on her shield was super useful.
Yes, very much so, as it gave her lots of energy to then go in with those Qs that you had talented into.
Yeah, and then the other thing was they had that Abathur, right? So we decided that once we had that advantage that we wanted to kind of leverage it aggressively, because if you can kind of keep Abathur behind before 10, you can really, play to the weaknesses of that hero, in my opinion.
Very much so. Abathur, very good in the late game. Very good at getting to the late game, generally speaking, between Mule and then able to soak XP constantly around the map. But very weak in that pre-level 10 situations. And if you're too far behind, it's just hard to come back from that.
Yeah, so that's what we were pegging on. That's why we kind of made that call to end at the end there, too, where we were just like, we want to push this as much as we can. And we had a team that had plenty of sustain, so it just made it pretty reliable to go in for that final push.
Let's go back to game 1, the one that you lost. Let's talk about that for a second. What do you think went wrong there? Did you just feel like you fell behind, you just couldn't catch up? Was it certain heroes were giving you issues? Because you did start banning the Kel'Thas Artanis for the other 2 games after that.
Yeah, so funny story. August, their solo laner, he's played on a team of ours before in Heroes Lounge. So we know his Artanis is very strong. So that's why we kind of wanted to ban it. Moving forward into the other games, we kind of just thought about where we would run into issues. On Cursed Hollow, we'd run into issues because there's lots of walls on that game. So if an Artanis gets a swap, we can't really do a lot to support a hero. So we really wanted to get rid of that. And then in the first game, we struggled against the Thrall, I think, a lot. Was giving us trouble. And the Kel'Thas. Kel'Thas was more of an issue as far as like on other maps. We didn't feel like we needed to ban the Thrall a lot. because Chain Lightning just in general was really good at stalling out the objective on Spider Queen, but other than that, it wasn't a big issue as far as playing against.
So because you knew he had the Artanis, did you look at the Arthas pick as a pre-planned counter to that?
I think when we were thinking about the Arthas pick, we did that so that we could pivot. Shoot, what was our composition for the first game? It was Arthas, Rhaegar,
Johanna, Hanzo,
Li Ming. I think it was so that we could pivot Eric, who's normally our solo laner, into the Li Ming. Because we thought that would be really good Mosh interrupt for the ETC. And then what ended up happening there though is that we just kind of had trouble securing those turn-ins. I think is where we really struggled in that game. And because Rhaegar is strong, but I think if he struggles to really sustain a team for really extended periods of time, some of that poke kind of really started going in their favor.
Especially with the Crash Lightning stacks finishing up in the 16 Lightning as well, with the 25% bonus damage when he was at those max stacks.
So we did fine whenever they would. If I think in that game we did fine whenever we were kind of in a really like secure fight where like it just happened decisively. But in any of those fights, especially the way their team was designed, where they dragged out and poked, we kind of got destroyed there. So that's also why later on in the drafts we kind of looked at picking the healer a little bit later into the draft. Specifically the third game, we were very cognizant about waiting before we picked a healer.
Speaking of picking healers, in game 2 you guys picked a double support, double auto tech, so you guys were the ones that were playing out that long game plan, and it went in your favor very much so, I'd say.
Yeah, our player Tally, his Phoenix is really strong, so a lot of the times we're really comfortable moving him up into that solo lane role. And because of that, Phoenix and Vala just gave us a really strong amount of immortal damage. So I think honestly that draft was won in draft because it put us in a really strong position where I think our team won both the team fight. If they wanted to fight us, we would ultimately just out sustain them with the Vala battery, and we outraced them as well because we had the Phoenix. So I think that was kind of where we were trying to leverage our advantage.
A lot of times right now, Volas you see go auto attack build, or they'll go Q build specifically for BOE. But instead, your Vola player opted into W build. Is that just a more comfortable one, or is that for the Ariel battery going that old school W Ariel battery play style?
Knowing Eric, who's the player who played the Vala, it was probably for that old school style. Because honestly, I don't know Vala very well as a hero, but I do know starting off this game, I played with him for a very long time, and I know his Vala is very solid. So just a couple of those comfort of life buffs that she got recently made us a little bit more comfortable picking her in draft today.
Yes, those health buffs really helped her out, not just in that series, but in general right now. I don't think he took any of the new talents or anything. He didn't. Well, I guess the new talents really only at 16, but didn't really. Yeah,
but I bet just knowing him, he played Vala with like a very. It was like a very old HOTS comp that I think we were going for that match.
Yes, and it worked out very well. Big fan of Uther right now. A little surprised he went Holy Fire over Holy Shock, so he was also playing a little bit more of the older style Uther that we saw shortly after W was originally nerfed.
Yeah, so we kind of just talked about early on in the game, and Uther's another hero that I'm also just not super familiar as far as like abilities go, but I basically told Alex, who was the Uther player that game, just our game plan right now is just to make sure that we're keeping this Vala up the entire time, right? So that was where I wanted his priority to lie.
And it worked. He was there. He de-shielded like every Chen ult too, keeping people from dying to the Storm Earth Fire, which is normally very good at just getting one kill in every fight. But between Aegis and de-shield, there's just no way to really secure a kill if you weren't instantly blowing them up.
Yeah, and that's what we were hoping for, right? Because once they failed to secure that kill, again, that composition just swings so much in our favor, right? Not only that, if you look towards the middle of the game, the way that map is set up, it's also good because it has a lot of those narrow pathways, at least when you're trying to fight towards the Immortal. So even when they needed to, if we got the advantage on the Immortal, they would have to walk in through a narrow corridor, and that's just fuel for Oriel if she wants to, keep sustaining with those W's.
Yes, very much so. We've already really talked about Game 3. Logicalia, do you have any questions for Little Wolf here?
Why didn't you take Vikings in Game 3? I was looking forward to it.
Wait,
that's pretty good.
He wants to know why you didn't pick TLV in the last game.
TLV?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, the Lost Vikings. Oh, gotcha. Oh my god. I think Greg might play them, but I have no idea how that hero works either.
Yeah, they're fun. It's some people think it's a decent meta counter, but no, those games were really solid. Game 2 and 3 almost looked like Overwatch games with the double healer and the triple tank.
Yeah, we kind of went for beefier compositions. Originally, we were gonna go for a Malthael comp, but then they picked the Tychus, and we were like, oh, we don't want to do that.
Yep, smart.
But yeah, no, honestly, just shout out to my team. It was we've kind of been struggling at the beginning of the season. I think adjusting to being in a different bracket. We are coming from Heroes Lounge Division 3 there, I think it was, that we were at, and we did really, really well. But moving into NGS, the caliber of the teams that we've been playing have all just been really high, and I don't think our game has necessarily been the best that it's been. So it was really nice to just, play some games where everything came together.
Yeah, it looked very clean. Do you have any more shoutouts for anyone else?
No, shoutouts to just like my team members, Eric, Greg, Tally, Alex. They've all just been working really, really hard. We practice at least twice a week. We've been busy trying to go back and watch some replays. So just I'm really, really proud of all of them. I think we played really well today.
You made it look very good today. Logicalia, do you have any shoutouts you want to do as we wrap this up?
Shoutouts to Blizzard for making a cool game. And then I retract my shout out to Blizzard for killing me.
Alright, well, thank you all for stopping by Nexus Commentaries. We'll actually be back tomorrow casting Reborn Knights Red versus Roll1 Esports. Should be an interesting setup, as I've actually faced both of these teams in the past, in Heroes Lounge, in fact. And we'll be sporting some more brand new bow ties that we picked up this weekend just for the cast. So that's always exciting. So feel free to stop by again tomorrow, and thanks for stopping by today. See you all in the Nexus.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun. Good game.